are showing up on Instagram. That's awesome. Awesome. Okay, so I've got Facebook going too. You know, the lighting on Facebook looks a whole lot better than Instagram. Instagram's like so bright. Anyway, how are you guys? Oh, look, Corey Seidel joined. Hi, honey. Roaring Tiger, hi. It's good to see you again. You guys are awesome. It's so cool to see repeated names. So it must mean that I keep teaching you guys stuff, which is fun. So this is my birthday. Can you guys believe it? I can't believe that I'm 49. Wow. Well, yesterday I was 48, but and 300 some days. Anyway, hey Beatrice. Hey Kate, good to see you guys. Okay, I want to get a few more people on before I get started. So tell me, this is always a good one. Just tell me where you are. Type it in. You don't have to send it as a direct message. Just type it in there. Tell me where you're from. I know I saw Claire, and I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, Claire, you're in the UK, right? What time is it there? Let's see. Okay. All right, guys, start chatting. Okay. Let's see. Oh, you guys are so nice. Happy birthday, happy birthday. I look like I'm in my 30s. Yay! Okay, I'm just gonna stay in my 30s forever. Holland. Woohoo! I love having international people on. It's so cool. Oh. Somebody says, I love your live chats. I learned so much, so thank you for doing them. Lots of happy birthdays. Kathy Ryan, you're back. Hey, I have to tell you guys, y'all can say hi to Kathy. She is the very first Blissette. She came up with it, so say hi, Kathy. And we just love having Blissette. So Kathy, thank you for giving us that. We have thousands now. 7 p.m. for Claire in the UK, Toronto, Canada, Maryland, Houston. Oh, I pray for Houston every day. It's just, every time this happens, it's just, oh, it's so frustrating. And it's amazing for me to watch how many tropical storms are whipping up. So Corey says he's at the warehouse, which happens to be in Olympia. 12 midnight. Thanks, Nail Art Tips. Greetings from Texas. Holland, it's 8 o'clock. Houston, gosh, Chile. Wow, or Chile. Kathy asked me, have you seen a definite improvement in your nails by drinking more water? Yeah, that's one of those that you can't really see. I just know that, you know, if you want to have healthy everything, you got to drink lots of water, got to eat as clean and good as you can. The challenge is that these days our soil is so deprived. So it's really hard to get the nutrition in our food that we used to get 100 years ago. So I think that's one of those things that I know it contributes, because whenever the body is in deficit, it this is how disease happens. And disease, the root of the word, basically, if you look at it, it's a dis-ease. So the body is not at ease and healthy. So that's how we, okay, I know there are many variables, but what is the average drying time between coats of polish? Good question. Happy birthday. Thank you. Happy B-Day. You know, it really depends. It depends on the solvents that are in it, and there are different kinds of solvents and how fast they evaporate. And then there are certain polishes, and I don't know how it works, but they actually help pull the solvents out of your polish as well, so that it helps your polish underneath dry faster. haven't a clue how that happens. So that's like Seche Vite. That is one of those. But the problem with that is that the solvents evaporate so fast, they evaporate out of the bottle too. And so then the product thickens really fast. So for me, the biggest, most important thing if you want your polish to dry quickly is thin coats. So this is a great question. Let me see if I can find, come on, where's my empty nail polish bottle? It can't have gone somewhere. Anyway, it did. It went somewhere. Oh, there it is. Okay. So, in order to, and I hate this brush because it's so thin, but we use it for simply peel, and you don't want a big fat giant brush. But what you're gonna do, it's hard to do this upside down, but what I wanna show you is a lot of people will just stroke the brush this way, and let me try and get high enough so that Instagram can see. But you end up with doing, because the brush is so thin, you're like stroking all of this. And what I really want you to think about is people need to push down. See, you can fan that brush way out. And so you literally can get it done in 3 to 4 strokes. Gosh, this is so hard to do upside down, backwards, and all of the things. So it really, you're gonna push down and flare that brush out. And that's how you get thinner coats. And that's how you can do it in less strokes, so you get a lot cleaner application. So I hope that helps. The other thing that I do is I make sure that I let the coats dry really well in between. So a lot of times that means that I'm doing email, or it's usually I'm doing email. Because I'll go, or actually Instagram. I'll get on Instagram and answer a few of your questions. So I make sure that I'm getting those, each layer really dry. And the way I can tell is I smell it. So smell it right after you polish your nails, and then smell it gradually. And when that smell will go down. For some people, it doesn't ever disappear because they have really great noses. But for the rest of us, when that smell is gone or almost gone, then it's time for the next coat. And the next coat will take a little bit longer because you're re-wetting the first coat. So as we get thicker, we're re-wetting. But by the time you get to the 5th coat, so let's say you've done 2 layers of base coat, 2 layers of color, and another layer of top coat, it's not re-wetting all those layers. It's just re-wetting the next couple layers, which is why this is, a lot of people ask me, what's the best top coat for doing over nail art? It's not the top coat, it's the actual process. So when you're doing top coat over nail art, especially stamping, so you think about it, you've got this really thin layer of polish that's your stamping design. So with this, you're going to get a big blob of your top coat, and you're going to float it. So the brush never ever touches your actual nail plate. You're going to put that blob and you're going to just float it out over it. So what it's doing is it's encapsulating that polish without having the brush actually touch it and smear it. I hope that makes sense. Okay. All right, you guys have been chit-chatting and giving me lots of nice things that you all are saying. So I'm gonna put that on hold because it is gonna be a Q&A. The big thing people have been asking me, so this is the first big topic that I want to talk about. People have lately been asking me about jojoba and what makes Simply Pure different from jojoba, because that is the #1 ingredient, and that's what I talk about all the time. But, so I've written notes because I want to make sure that I cover it all. But the biggest thing, so I'm going to show you, is that what it looks like under the microscope. And hopefully you guys can see this since I didn't laminate it. So what I want you to see is, let me read these, and they're backwards. The first one is jojoba. The next one is body oil. The next one is sperm whale oil, which used to be used in cosmetics until the 1970s when killing sperm whales was outlawed. And then this is really important. This is olive oil, and these are called chains. So see how it's a branched chain? This is a much bigger molecule. It's a lot harder for it to actually penetrate the nail plate. Does it? Yes. Unlike mineral oil, which is one, it's derived from petroleum, the gasoline industry. So that's not something that I want to be putting on my skin. The other thing is, there are certain oils like mineral oil that do not penetrate the nail plate. They just sit on top and they're creating this barrier, which then washes away with soap. But it surprises me how many cuticle oils have mineral oil as their first ingredient. And I want to talk a lot about these oils because they're like, I haven't done the research on how much mineral oil costs because I don't care. It's something that I would never use in our products. But people think, well, okay, I can just go get jojoba on Amazon, let's say. And I've tried those cheap jojobas and they didn't work. And there was recently a study done on oils in Australia. And I don't remember what prompted it, but basically they came in and they tested some very well-known brands of different oils that we use in the kitchen. And what they discovered is even some big brands were selling their oil as 100% oil, and it turns out that it was being cut with a whole lot cheaper oils. And we wouldn't know because we're relying on the label that says it's 100% this. So when I first started, I tried all kinds of different jojoba because of the research that I was doing. And I want to show you a different version so you guys can see it. That makes it a little bit easier. But see how, I mean, it's almost identical. So this is jojoba, and it's just slightly longer. And then this is your body oil sebum. And about 30% of your body oil is a wax ester. And so I want to talk about that. So I made notes so that I remember. So bear with me, forgive me. The big thing is, you guys know that I'm always wanting to teach you the real words, the eponychium, the proximal fold, what is really the cuticle. The cuticle is that dead skin on your nail plate. A lot of times the easiest place to see it is on your toenails. As you're pushing back your proximal fold, you can feel all of that skin. Well, that's the cuticle, so you can only scrape off the cuticle. It is physically impossible to cut it. So everything else is live skin. We want to keep that. It does dry out very fast because all of this is very thin skin. So it dries out, it gets calluses, and we're washing our hands and we're stripping the oils. So this is why it's important to keep using nail oil if you want them to be strong. So to me, it's really important that you guys know how to actually say jojoba. And it's spelled jojoba, but Siri butchers it every time I try and dictate it. She does weird things when I say jojoba, because she just can't get it. And I've tried doing shortcuts and no, it hasn't worked. So the next thing is that it comes from a drought-resistant bush. And what the jojoba is pressed, they take the seeds and they press them. So it's really quite fascinating, and I think we're going to add that to our website if we can. But so it all falls when it's ripe. All of the seeds, they fall to the ground, or berries per se, and they fall to the ground. And then the machine that comes and gets them is like it's just a big vacuum cleaner. So it vacuums up the seeds and the dirt and the pieces of straw and all of that. And then it goes through several layers of grates, and it's just bouncing along, as some of us have seen if you watch the show, how it's made. In fact, I think that's the video. Anyway, it goes bouncing along these grates, and the holes get smaller and smaller, and they sift out all of the rocks and the dirt and things, and then it goes into this big giant press that goes very, very slowly. Olive oil is done this way also. So the best oils are pressed, and then that is collected as pure oils. Now, under the microscope, since Um, jojoba looks almost identical to body oil. It really does penetrate, but it's not an oil. It's a wax ester. And so this has nothing to do with like your Aunt Esther, who's aging a lot and can't remember what story you just told her. Anyway, so how do I describe this a little bit better? It's so it comes from putting together an alcohol molecule combined with a fat molecule. And so it's kind of like they bond together, almost like they're having a party. So they go together a lot like, let's say, hamburgers and beer, or for those of you who love wine, like cheese and wine. You got to have your alcohol molecule, and even though it has nothing to do with actually beer or wine, but you've got your alcohol molecule and your fat molecules, and then magic happens. And so it's very, very similar to our body oil, which is why if body oil can come up through the skin, then jojoba can go the other direction. And it goes through your nail plate as well. Your nail, the pink nail bed, look at that, no polish today. Your pink nail bed is what nourishes the nail plate. Even though, what I want you guys to understand, the nail plate is dead. So the minute it leaves past, do I have any? I don't really, but it shows up barely much on this thumb, is the lunula, the moon. And a lot of people covet that, and you really don't want to, because that is the exposed portion of the nail matrix where new nail cells grow. And so that's actually really cool to see that when the nails, your nail cells are growing in the matrix, they're whitish color. And then as soon as they leave the matrix, they're dead. Kind of like just, you know, you've got live hair that's in your scalp, and as soon as it leaves, then it's dead. And there's really nothing we can do to repair or fix or hydrate something that's, well, something that's dead. But what the oils do for our nails and the jojoba wax ester is that it's what it's doing is called plasticizing. So it makes our dead nails, which get very hard and crispy when they're not being nourished by the nail bed anymore, it makes our nails more flexible again, so that then when you whack them into something, they bend, and that's what's really important. Let me talk about a few other things. So we've got that part. Oh, I was starting to talk about earlier was that not all jojoba is created equally. Like I was starting to tell you, you can find really inexpensive jojoba on Amazon and in your health food stores. And I tried those at the very beginning, and what they were was very thin. And so that made me wonder if it's like if the quality was really, really good. And so I kept testing different ones till I found, and what I found was that the really good jojoba is $180 a gallon. Let's see, almond oil, $62 a gallon. Extra virgin olive oil, $27 a gallon. So you can see why some of these ingredients, and jojoba is the most expensive of all the ones that I was researching. And you guys know, for those of you who are Blissettes, and if you've tried our products, I don't go cheap. I've never ever made a decision on creating a product based on the cheapest ingredients. So I've always worked to find the best ingredients. And so, like, another example is with our lotion stick. It has lanolin in it because beeswax was too hard, and I didn't like the resulting product that my mom was creating, because she's our chemist. For everything except the oil. I created the oil recipe, and she's created our lip balm and our lotion stick. So she's just fantastic. Anyway, so she realized that to get what I was looking for was lanolin. Well, lanolin is derived from the body oil of sheep. So that's what comes and wicks up into their wool. And keeps it soft. It's a good water barrier, so that when they're standing out in days and months of rain, it protects their skin and helps keep them warm. But here's the caveat: it smells like sheep. And those of us who grew up on farms love that smell. But people who have never ever experienced, they're like, oh my God, what is that? So I went back to mom and I'm like, is there something, some lanolin that has no fragrance? And so they've put it through a process that removes that fragrance of sheep. And it costs 3 times as much. And I was like, I don't care. So this is what I want. I'm choosing the best ingredients, and that's what matters to me. And that's what makes the products then different from other things that you've tried, and you're just like, it doesn't really work. And then people order from us and they're like, oh my gosh, this is night and day difference. And like, even when we started the business at the very beginning, in order to build trust with everybody, I felt like, well, the only way I'm going to be able to do that is to actually give you my recipe. And that built trust. And then I explained why, of course, it's way more work to go buy all of the ingredients and spend 5 times as much. So of course, you've got a lot of ingredients, but it's going to take you 14 years to go through them. And so I gave away the recipe. And when we did our first sale, so our first Get Naked challenge, what was that, 3 years ago? 4 years ago? I don't remember. But when we did that, we had a couple people who were in the UK, and they had not ordered because of the very expensive shipping charges. So that having the sale was sort of their leap of, okay, I'm going to try it. And we got emails back from people going, I made your recipe exactly the way you said it, and yours works better. I don't understand why. I do, because I tried, when I was working on it, I tried different ingredients, not different ingredients, but different brands of those ingredients. Big difference. I tried a different kind of grapeseed oil and was not happy with it all. And I could tell that it had changed the consistency of it. It changed the way it absorbed. So brands and where we source our ingredients, that's really, really, really important to me. So another big thing that I really want to talk about, especially is with the cheaper jojoba, is that since jojoba can penetrate, it's used as a carrier oil. So what that means is that it can carry other ingredients into the skin, goes through the skin into your bloodstream. So it's pulling, and this is part of why our oil works so well, because it is combined. So we've taken jojoba, we've combined it with other oils, and it attracts it and helps pull it in to the nail plate. So you're getting the benefit of all of these oils that normally would be too big to penetrate. And so the jojoba just pulls it in, and you get this completely different experience. So that as a carrier oil, it works great for like medications. So those of us who, not me, but people who are trying to quit smoking, there's the transdermal patches that with the nicotine and other medications. What that does is it takes that medication through your skin. Well, what if you're using inexpensive oils and jojoba, things that have potentially been cut, cut with cheaper oils? Do you know actually what's in it? Do you know whether it's got pesticides or other things? Because those are going to be pulled into your skin and into your bloodstream. And for those of us who are really struggling with skin issues like eczema, psoriasis, several other ones that I can't even pronounce, people really, really suffer. And if you're using inferior ingredients that have been cut with other things or have pesticides, those kind of things, it's all getting pulled in, and it's irritating your skin, and it's pissing off your body. So we can get all kinds of other symptoms that happen because of what's being absorbed into our skin. So we have to be careful. Let's see. Did I cover everything? I probably missed something. But I think that's the biggest thing that I want you guys to walk away with is I never, ever, ever make choices for what we're doing, and how we build our company and how we fulfill that mission that we have of to our mission is to create life-changing products with an exceptional customer experience, which is part of why I've been leery, resistant to having distributors, because I don't know what kind of customer care they're going to give you, and that bothers me a lot. So I'll get over it someday, some year, probably, if we want to keep growing this company and having more of a positive impact on the planet. But yeah, that's why I don't have distributors yet. Okay. Another thing I want to hit. This is really, really important, and I want to make sure so that we have plenty of time for you guys to ask your questions, and hopefully I can get to all of them. If I don't get to your question because you're coming in later, or there's just too many questions ahead of yours, please email me or come back next Thursday. Usually I like doing it at 11 o'clock, because then what I do after that is I'm recording articles and I'm trying to record videos of, I really want to do nail art videos. I've just been dying for like years to do them. And I just started playing with a new technique called fluid nail art, and oh boy is that fun. But I'm also testing all kinds of different ways that people are doing it, and what is going to be the most successful way for you to do it, or the least expensive way for you to get success. So these are the kind of things that's important to me, is I want to do the hard work for you guys, and just then you get to take that information and run with it and just have a ball. So we have been doing, as many of you know, we've been doing a Let's Get Naked challenge, and that goes for about, I think this time is 5 weeks, maybe. No, 6. This one was 6 weeks, 5.5. Anyway, because we want to give, the reason it's so long is to give everybody the opportunity to do that 3-day challenge, and a lot of times our orders take like 3 weeks when they're going around the rest of the world and not in the United States. The United States is fantastic. You can get it in like 3 days. So we want to give everybody that opportunity to take that 3-day challenge and then enter our contest. So we didn't talk a whole lot about, there is a contest at the very end, and the grand prize is $75 gift certificate to our store. So if you've done the challenge, please email us your before and after pictures and a short testimonial. That is your entry. And then we will pick a random winner. Has nothing to do with your experience, because everybody who takes the challenge is a winner. And so anyway, make sure that you get that done. We will post what the exact deadline is, but please email us your experience, because we want to celebrate with you guys. Okay, so I've covered that one. Okay, you guys, this has been a secret that I've been hanging on to, and it's been so hard, and we just launched it. So like as of an hour ago, we just launched it. It is our ultimate Bliss Box, and what that is a sampling of almost everything we carry. I don't think it has the mixing balls in it. It has everything else. And so, plus you get a free Bliss Kiss bag, a tote bag with that. And it's got all of our products, and I explain why I developed them and how to use them in a video that's over on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/C as in channel, and then another /Bliss Kiss. And you go there, and I think we've got like 60 videos now. And that's where you'll find dictations of articles that I've already written, because I'm pushing 90 articles now as of today is my birthday, August 31st, 2017. So, and I will just keep continuing to write. So we're working on dictating those so that you guys can listen to them while you're doing your nail art, or just polishing your nails. And so go to that video because I explain everything that's in it. It's just a big long list, and so I'm so excited for you guys. So if you're going to college, it's the get started right in college, and then also we're making this ready so that Christmas time is coming, and add that to your Christmas list, because we just wanted a quick, easy way for, especially for parents, of going, okay, my child wants this. Just push go. This is what I want. We want to make it easy for anybody who wants to order that. So I'm super, super, super excited for you guys. And we have more good stuff that we're working on for Black Friday, and then also for our sale that's coming up in January. So I'm so excited for you guys. Okay, did I cover everything? I think I did. Okay, so let me go back to where the questions are. Let me grab Facebook questions. Got a few people there. Hi from Jackson, Florida. So he says, I love the cuticle oil. Nicole says, all three are my absolute favorite products. I go crazy with my oil and lotion stick. I do too. Nancy says, hi Anna, love, love, love all the products. Thanks you guys. Okay, now tons of questions always happen on Instagram, which is just so much fun, and I really, really, I'm enjoying spending time with you guys on my birthday. Let's see. Okay, I know there's, okay. Holland. Sorry. Kate says, glad I get to catch a live. I haven't had school all week and last Friday because of Harvey. Oh, yay, but not yay. That's a terrible reason to not have school. But, oh, did you guys see the video that I posted of all the people who are saving the animals that are trapped in different places? So that is just very heartwarming, and if I was in Texas, that's exactly what I would be doing. Hey Kathy, a lot of you are saying hi. How long does it take for your nail oil, Audra, to fully work? That's a great question. 3 days, if you're doing the 3-day Let's Get Naked challenge. And that's having naked nails, and you just keep reapplying our oil throughout that 3 days. The first day, you're gonna feel like your nails are a sponge because they just keep soaking it up. And so like you feel how your nails are and they feel dry, and then you apply the oil, and you want just a teeny little bit, and so that it feels just barely slippery, because you don't want to leave a grease trail behind you. Although there are some people, like my best friend, who loves being very greasy because her skin is dry. But I don't, and I don't want to leave a grease trail all over my keyboard and etc. So you want the tiniest little bit, and you want it to be slippery. And so 30, 60 minutes, you just sort of test it again, and is it slippery or is it dry again? And when it's dry, you just keep reapplying. And everybody's nails are different. But a really cool thing, one of my best friends created the overnight hydration treatment. And so I've got those instructions on nailcarehq.com. And then I also have the instructions and how to do it, what it looks like, over on YouTube. So a lot of people who don't have the opportunity to do 3 days because they work with paper, fabric, water, they tell me, I just can't do it. So when Britt created this overnight hydration treatment, I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. I have to try it. And so I've been blown away because I can see that the oil penetrates all the way through my nail plate because it turns transparent. And it's so cool. I have some pictures in my Instagram feed somewhere. You probably have to scroll down a little bit. But yeah, you can see that my nails turn transparent, and it usually is about halfway. And so that tells me that the oil is penetrating all the way through those layers to help plasticize it and make it so that they bend when you break something. And the really cool thing is, this is how I know it's not water absorption, because water absorption, it evaporates, and then you're left with nails that feel even drier. That's because the oil goes with it. It actually can evaporate with water. And so Where did my thought go? Oh, just do that overnight and you will be blown away. And then also, here's where I was talking about, was I have put base coat over it and I can still see the oil transparency. So I know that that makes a difference, because when I've done that with water absorption, it still it still evaporates. Not quite sure how when you've wrapped your tips, but anyway, it will evaporate. And so it's really cool. Like, I can take off my polish and I'll still see the clear tips. So it's very, very cool. So the overnight hydration can really, really work, and then you're done in 12 hours. Also, I wanted to talk to you guys about water absorption, and I have a great visual. You guys have seen me talk about it, but this visual. So your nails, your nail layers, you have about 50 of them, and they sit together like a nice book. All these pages that are nice and flat. And then water absorption happens, and the water, because your nails can only absorb water and certain oils. And so the water can penetrate through the layers and then also through every single cell. So I have this laminated, so I'll see if you guys can see it. But these are what the nail cells look like when they're nice and healthy. They all lay stacked on top of each other and meshed together. This is what happens when they get pulled apart. And so the water, because it's going through the cells as well as between the layers, it can create a lot of damage. And so a great example, I got a book wet, and you can see the damage. It's like, no matter what I do, I will never, ever, ever get the pages or the layers of my nail self to actually go back together and stay there, which is why then they start to peel, because these layers have been pushed apart. Which is why it's very, very important to seal your entire nail plate as much as possible. If you've got longer tips, it's easier. If you've got really short nails, you're just going to cap the tips. But otherwise, you're going to wrap base coat all the way around to your fingertip, 2 layers of base coat, then 2 layers of your color just on top. Don't wrap it, because it's a royal pain in the you-know-what to get that out. And then you're going to wrap your top coat all the way around as well. And what that does is it completely encapsulates your nail so that water absorption is very, very difficult. And if you think about it, you have also wrapped your nail tips with, basically, you've got 8 layers of polish. You've got 5 on top and you've got 3 on the underneath. So that gives you temporary strength as well, which the way to the way to get longer nails is to stop breaking them. And I've been teaching them for a long time, 5 years now. So anyway, very, very cool. That's kind of how I got started with all of this, was because I wanted to figure out, how do I get my polish to stop chipping in the shower? I'd done all of this hard work of, 4 hours of nail art, and then I'd go take a shower and it would start chipping off, and I was like, I don't like this. So I got online and I was trying to figure out, how do I get this to stop? And I fell into this 2-week-long rabbit hole, and I mean, literally, I was obsessed. Corey was like, when is this gonna stop? Because it was like 8-10 hours a day for 2 weeks before I kind of felt like, oh, I have seen everything that the internet has to offer about nail care, nail art. I learned all these cool new techniques. Boy, when I discovered, I'm blanking, Colette of My Simple Little Pleasures, and she had already had like 100 videos on different ways to do water marbling, and that just blew my mind. And I still, after 5 years, I've barely done any water marbling at all. But this is because you guys get to play and I'm busy building a business, which is okay. I love doing it. So where was I going with that? I don't know. But, oh yeah, I do. I was telling you the story of how I got started. And so after 2 weeks, I still didn't have an answer. And it took me a whole nother year and starting to write articles and reading Doug Schoon's book, Nail Structure and Product Chemistry. And I finally figured it out when he, with the whole big section when he's talking about water absorption and everything. And I realized, oh, I'm putting polish all on the top, but I'm not doing anything to protect the underside. And so water was going straight on through and breaking that polish to nail plate bond. Hence the chipping, especially when it go through my hair and it gets stuck. It drove me nuts. Anyway, so that's how I figured that out, and I started doing the base coat and top coat wrapping, and that's how I created the Fab 5 wrap. So, and so many people have said, oh my gosh, it totally works. So somebody asks, what's the difference between your oil and straight jojoba? I talked about that for probably a good 20 minutes. It's at the beginning of this. So I will put this in Instagram on the stories. You'll also find it on Facebook. And that's Facebook it stays there forever. On Instagram, it will disappear in 24 hours, but it will be up in your stories, and you can, if you push on the right side or the left side, you can zip forward by 10 seconds, I think it is. So is it 10 seconds, or maybe it's by a minute, but you can zip forward to where exactly I talk about it. And there is a big difference. Anna, I try the latex gloves for the overnight hydration. The gloves don't work the same. When you the same as nitrile? Is that what you're asking me, Natasha? Because you know what? I don't have latex gloves. Maybe I should pick some up and try it. So, okay. Natasha says happy birthday. Thank you. Kate says, last week you talked about not digging the dirt from behind your nails because you don't want to push your nail beds back, which is actually your hyponychium. But how are we supposed to remove polish behind my nails with the Fab 5 layer wrap? Excellent question. Q-tips. And I actually like Q-tip brand cotton swabs. And so I just get that little cotton saturated with acetone, and then just rub it in there, and because it's kind of drippy, it gets it out of that corners, it dissolves it, and since it's only 3 thin layers of polish, it dissolves really fast. So I hope that helps. I've never had any trouble, and it doesn't push back as long as you're not like jamming it in there. I just sit there and I just roll it back and forth, and that dissolves the polish pretty quickly. More happy birthday wishes, thank you. How was it starting your business, like from the very start? That's by the Nail Man. Okay, so did you catch it? Did you catch where I talked about how I got started? So hopefully you did. If not, I did talk about it, and you'll find it in like I said before, you'll find it in your stories for 24 hours. If you go over to Facebook, it'll be there forever. And then also, so just so you guys know, you can find all of my lives about a week later, sometimes 2 weeks, if we get really busy. But James edits these for me, and then he puts them up on YouTube. So you can go find all my old ones, and he's fantastic because he listens to every single thing, and he lists out all of the topics of so you can like zip through to those minute marks and just listen to exactly what you want. Let's see. Go live when you paint your nails, please. Oh, that's a great idea. I can do that. Why don't you read my messages? I don't know. I feel like I'm trying to read everybody's messages. Ask me a question. My hair looks lovely. Thank you. I'm liking the new haircut. My sister did a great job. And she lives in Michigan, so it's probably the last time she's ever going to cut my hair. If I overcut the side cuticles, so you're talking about your lateral folds here, I'm guessing. because you can't cut your cuticles. Remember, that's the dead skin on your nail plate. And actually, do I have a good picture of this? I do. It's still laminated, but see that skin on the nail plate? That's the cuticle, okay? This band of skin back here, that's the proximal fold. It dries out really, really easy. This is why people think, and then it dries out and it lifts. And this is why people think, well, fine, I don't need it because it's sticking up and it's annoying, so I'll just cut it off. Well, the best thing to do is oil it with a good nail oil, and then that will soften that skin and it will tighten it up. And so especially if you very, very gently push back on it, because when people say I'm pushing back my cuticles, no, you're pushing back the proximal fold to actually release it from the cuticle, which is this dead skin. And that is actually this section underneath here that covers the matrix. So it's not all of this top skin. I just recently learned from Doug, it's the bottom layer that's covering just the nail matrix. So it's this bottom layer of skin, very, very thin. And as the nail plate is growing, because it's bonded to the eponychium, it actually rips out that bottom layer and turns into the cuticle when it grows. So this is why and if you don't release it, what it'll do is it stretches out the proximal fold. And then once it releases, then you actually have a bigger chunk of skin that dries out even faster. And so then what are we doing? We're either cutting it, or some nail technicians are using very fine bits. It's called the Russian manicure, and they're basically abrading that off. They're filing it off. And what happens is then the body gets annoyed at you and it grows more skin like a callus. And so then this skin gets really, really thick and annoyed. And then so your nail techs, or even some of your DIY people, you're making this whole problem worse. And so it really needs nail oil to solve that problem, and especially jojoba based, so that it really penetrates into that skin quickly and softens it and stops the hangnails. So let me go make sure I've answered that. So overcut side cuticles, how do I grow them again, as they seem to help prevent side breaks of the nail more, but I've overfiled them. Oh, especially if you've overfiled the sides, so maybe this is what you're talking about back here, and you can actually see that mine kind of, can you see? I can on Facebook, no, there against the blue. Mine release way back here, so if they tear, they can tear way back here into my nail bed. And so the body where it releases, that's just, you can't change that. But if you've cut too much of this lateral sidewall skin, because I get tons of little hangnails right there, you want to trim that, just that dead skin that's lifted up, with baby infant nail clippers. So the really little ones, because they're sharp and they get in there, so that you can just clip that dead skin without clipping the live skin. And so if you've clipped too much, just leave it alone, put oil on it, and then your body will grow the skin back. I hope that helps. So glad I'm doing my top coat correctly. Good, yay! My daughter can't keep polish on even with a base coat. It peels off in a couple of days. So Cinderella, I would ask you, is she using rubbing alcohol and a lint-free pad to remove that surface dirt and oil? If she is, and it's still peeling in a couple of days, then I would ask, what's the water absorption that's happening in her life? Because water absorption will pop that polish and make it lift. If you're doing all of the things right and it's still like she's not digging into stuff or swimming, or there's so many of our hobbies and the things that we like to do that actually just make polish go. If she's doing all of that, it's still, especially for people, if the polish pops off in one big piece, then what's happening is you're removing that surface layer of oil, but the oil is still coming through the nail bed. So the nail bed is pumping oil all the way through, and what that's then doing is releasing the bond, and that we cannot do anything about. So that just becomes, and I learned that from Doug. There's just really nothing you can do about that, and it is the way you were born. Natasha says, is peel off nail polish bad for your nails? Only if you dig at it. So actually, I have another one. Man, I pulled out all the right ones today. Let me make sure. So I've got that upside down. So you can kind of see it. So on this side, you can kind of see some scraping that's going on right here. This is magnified. You take this part, magnify it even more, and you can see really the gouge that's happening. That's from an orange wood stick. So just pushing with an orange wood stick to peel that polish off can cause that kind of damage. So you just want to be very, very, very careful. I've purchased Unt, which is very popular with bloggers and swatchers. I just haven't used it yet, sorry. It's because I've been testing base coats for you guys. So many people have been asking me, what's your favorite base coat? And I'm like, I don't have one. So I'm testing those. The challenge is that I'm testing them for durability. And that usually means 7, 10, 12 days if I can get them to last that long. So it's not a fast project. And I'm about halfway through. But I've got naked nails today because I'm just dying to work on this fluid nail art for you guys. And so I think I'm going to put the base coat testing on hold so I can play. It's my birthday, dang it. I want to play. Lots of happy birthdays. How long do you leave nail polish on? As long as it stays. I basically leave it on until it starts to get too much tip wear. Usually a couple of chips will start to happen, especially with tip wear, because then water is able to get into the ends of your nail plate, and it will start to peel. It'll start to push those layers apart. So I will wait till just a little bit of that happens. And I have literally, it depends on the polish, it depends on the base coat, it depends on the top coat, it probably depends on how they interact together anyway. It just depends. And so sometimes, and it also depends on what am I doing? Am I spending most of my time at a keyboard writing an article, or am I spending more time playing with my horse and doing gardening? Then I've got a lot more wear and tear on my, especially if I'm working on Zeus's my horse. If I'm working on his mane and braiding it, I can't do it with gloves on. It's really hard. So then that's challenging on my nails because I'm doing little skinny braids on him. He has so much hair. So it's for me, and the other thing is I am a picker. So I will pick skin, I will pick polish, I will rip polish off. And so I've learned that for me, as soon as I start to see a little bit of chipping, I have got to remove that polish like now. Otherwise I'll get in and I'll start watching a movie and I'll start working at a chip that's just started to happen, and then I'll keep working at it. And if you want to see what that looks like, which is scary, I did that once and I took a huge chunk of like this kind of a look, and this is peeling where I had lifted the layers, and so then my nails felt fuzzy. This is why, and this is what it looks like. And so there's a picture on a blog post that I wrote about does peeling polish damage your nails, and the answer is yes. So I also, especially if I'm traveling along, then like I'm traveling, then I take those little, about this big, they're little polish remover pads. You can get them at any drugstore or Target, Walmart, and you can get like a box of 10. And so I take those with me, and it's I don't know, out somewhere, but the pad is got enough where it's able to do all 10 nails. Let's see. I accidentally used liquid latex around my nails and I'm allergic to it. I'm sorry. Sorry, Mimi. Yeah, what should you do? Don't use it. there are some non-latex, like there's a DIY recipe of using, I think it's 3/4 Elmer's glue and 1/4 water. Because remember in school we used to like slather our hands with Elmer's glue and then let it dry and peel it off. It's just so fun. So that's kind of the DIY recipe. I think there's a few that don't have latex, but they don't work as well. So, and unfortunately, only about 1%, 0.5% of the population is allergic to latex. So it's not a huge market for us to develop a product but we're working with the manufacturer to improve ours, but it's still going to have latex in it, so that doesn't help you. I'm sorry. Autumn oils. When is Autumn going to be on the website for sale? I'm pretty sure it is now. If not, it will be hopefully within the next week. But I do know that we wanted to start our seasonals. We changed it for this year. We're starting our seasonals rather than on the first day of the season, which sort of seems to be halfway into the season. We're starting it like a month ahead. So Autumn, if it's not already out, it should be out very, very quickly. Do sheep die to take lanolin out? No. Lanolin is, Corey gets in there. Lanolin is processed from the wool. There's no sheep that are harmed in it. And actually I saw a picture of a sheep that had not been shorn for like over 10 years, I think. And the poor thing, it was so matted, like dreadlocks, kind of matted, just solid. And the hair was like super, super thick and I imagine very, very heavy, which then pulls on the sheep's skin and then can cause, especially if it's ripping out the hair, then that can cause sores. So it's actually very, very important that sheep get shorn, that they trim all of that wool off every year. And that is very, very important for the health of the animal. And they grow that wool really, really fast, which is why, and it's so warm, which is why wool sweaters are just wonderful, except wool makes me itch like crazy. So if I wear a wool sweater, I have to wear a turtleneck underneath it. Somebody says, thanks, I'm a vegetarian and I hate it if animals died. Yeah, and if animals had to die for the process, we wouldn't use it. We just wouldn't. Oh my gosh, you guys. I got the 2-minute warning. Okay, so let me wrap everything up. If I haven't, I know I've missed a ton of your guys' questions. Please come back next week and ask me again. Come back at the beginning, and then that way I'll be able to make sure that I get those answered for you. Also, you can go to YouTube and look in the lives that have already been posted and see if I've already gotten if I've already addressed the question that you're looking for an answer. So again, that's YouTube or youtube.com/C as in channel /Bliss Kiss. You can find we've also got support groups over on Facebook for people who have skin issues and also for people who are biting their nails or their skin or picking at skin. And you can find those at myblisskiss.com /healthy nails, and then for the skin is /healthy skin. You can find all my articles at nailcarehq.com. What else? You can find our products at myblisskiss.com, and I know that one of these is going to cut me off in the middle of a word, so I probably should wrap these up. And you guys, I really, really appreciate all of your questions, and I'm here to just teach. This is really, I'm answering products about Bliss Kiss, answering how I got started with it, anything you want to know about nail care. It's very, 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 very important for me to share that. That's my mission, and I hope you guys have an awesome, awesome weekend and an awesome week. Bye. Hey, it's Anna. I've written over 70 nail care articles that you can find at nailcarehq.com.
And if you're looking for products that will help you have longer, stronger nails, visit myblisskiss.com. Be sure to push the subscribe button and turn on notifications to get alerted when I publish more videos. This is Anna, signing off and sending you bliss.